The Galactic Council chamber fell into absolute silence as the massive doors slid open. Queen Exwalera of the Zinthari Empire rose from her crystalline throne, her four eyes widening in disbelief. After 12 solar cycles of searching across 100 star systems, her daughter had finally returned. Princess Velana stepped through the doorway, her violet skin gleaming under the chamber's ambient light. But she wasn't alone. Beside her stood a human male, tall and broad-shouldered, with kind brown eyes that swept the room with cautious assessment. Kenneth, the humans called him, and clutched in Velana's arms were two small children. Hybrids, their features a perfect blend of Zinthari and human characteristics. Mother, Velana said, her voice steady despite the weight of a dozen judging stares from assembled diplomats and nobles. I have returned home. Queen Exwalera descended the steps of her throne platform, her elaborate robes trailing behind her. The council members whispered among themselves, mandibles clicking, tentacles writhing in agitation. Interspecies relationships were not forbidden, but they were uncommon, especially for royal blood. My daughter, the queen breathed, stopping a few paces away. Her eyes moved from Velana to Kenneth, then to the children. One had his mother's violet skin, but his father's single pair of eyes. The other bore human skin tones, but possessed the distinctive cranial ridges of the Zinthari. Both watched their grandmother with wide, curious expressions. 12 cycles, the queen continued, her voice carrying across the silent chamber. 12 cycles we searched for you. We feared you dead, captured by pirates, or worse. And you return with my family. Velana finished firmly. She adjusted her grip on the smaller child, a girl who couldn't have been more than 3 standard years old. Mother, this is Kenneth. And these are your grandchildren, Deborah and Marcus. A counselor from the Crithian delegation stood abruptly. Your Majesty, this is unprecedented. The princess has not only abandoned her duties, but has diluted the royal bloodline with. With what? Counselor Thex. Kenneth's voice cut through the chamber like a blade. He spoke Galactic Standard with a slight accent, but his words were clear and sharp. With humanity? Are we so beneath you that our children are considered contamination? The council erupted into chaos. Voices rose in a dozen languages, translation devices struggling to keep pace. Queen Exwalera raised one hand, and gradually, silence returned. You are bold, human, to speak so in this chamber, she said, but there was no anger in her tone. Only curiosity. Kenneth stepped forward, placing himself slightly in front of Velana and the children, not aggressively, but protectively. It was a gesture not lost on the queen. With respect, Your Majesty, I am bold because I must be. I love your daughter. I have built a life with her on a frontier colony where no one cared about species or bloodlines, only about survival, cooperation, and family. These children, he gestured to Deborah and Marcus, are not mistakes or embarrassments. They are the future. Humans, Ambassador Krell of the Tazarian Confederacy sneered from his seat. Always so certain of themselves. Your species has been spacefaring for barely 2 centuries. What could you possibly teach us about the future? Kenneth turned to face the ambassador directly. What can humans teach you? We can teach you about resilience, about thriving in impossible conditions. When we first left Earth, we had no guidance, no ancient empire to learn from. We clawed our way into the stars with determination and ingenuity. We've colonized toxic worlds, survived in the void, and built communities in places you considered uninhabitable. He paused, his expression softening. But more than that, we can teach you about something you seem to have forgotten in all your millennia of civilization: hope. Velana moved to stand beside Kenneth, little Deborah still in her arms while Marcus clung to her legs. Mother, Kenneth speaks truth. On the colony world of New Horizon, we built something beautiful. Humans, Zinthari, Crithians, even Tazarians, all working together. Our children play together, learn together, grow together. They don't see species. They see friends. Impossible, Counselor Thex muttered. Such idealism cannot survive in the real galaxy. And yet it does, Velana countered. It thrives. The colony has grown from 300 souls to nearly 5,000 in just 10 cycles. Our hybrid children. And yes, there are others like Deborah and Marcus. They possess abilities neither species has alone. Enhanced problem solving, combined physical traits, immunity to diseases that plague both our species separately. Queen Exwalera had been silent through this exchange, her eyes never leaving her grandchildren. Slowly, she approached, and Kenneth tensed but didn't move away. The queen knelt before Deborah, bringing her eyes level with the child's. "Hello, little one," she said softly in Zenthari. "Do you know who I am?" Deborah tilted her head, her hybrid features both familiar and foreign. Then, in perfect Zenthari, she responded, "Your grandmother. Mama showed me pictures. She said you have the biggest library in the galaxy and that you're very wise." Something shifted in the queen's expression. The hardness melted away, replaced by something raw and genuine. She reached out tentatively, and Deborah grasped her finger with surprising strength. "She has her father's grip," the queen observed, a slight smile touching her features. She looked up at Kenneth. "Human strength. It said your species can endure injuries that would kill most others, that you're relentlessly stubborn and refuse to accept defeat." "We prefer to call it persistent," Kenneth replied with a slight grin. The queen stood, Marcus now boldly approaching to tug at her robes. She looked down at him, and this time, she smiled fully. "You have your mother's curiosity. I can see it in your eyes." She turned to address the council, her voice ringing with authority. "My daughter did not abandon her duties. She pioneered a new future. These children represent a bridge between our species, proof that cooperation is not only possible, but beneficial." The human Kenneth is right. We have grown stagnant in our ancient traditions, forgetting that evolution, both biological and social, requires change. "Your Majesty, surely you cannot mean," Counselor Thex began. "I mean exactly what I say, Counselor. My daughter will retain her title and her place in succession. Her husband," she glanced at Kenneth, "will be recognized as Prince Consort, and my grandchildren will be raised with the knowledge of both their heritages. Furthermore, I propose the Zenthari Empire establish formal partnership protocols with human colonies for cultural and genetic exchange programs." The chamber erupted again, but this time, not everyone was protesting. Some voices rose in support, discussing possibilities, opportunities. Kenneth leaned close to Velana. "Did we just accidentally start a revolution?" Velana laughed, the sound like crystal bells. "Not accidentally, beloved. Humans never do anything accidentally. You charge forward with stubborn determination until the galaxy reshapes itself around you." Queen Exwilera overheard and smiled. "Indeed, perhaps that is precisely what we need. The galaxy has been the same for too long. It's time for something new." She held out her arms, and Velana placed Deborah in them. The queen held her granddaughter close, feeling the strong human heartbeat and the warm Zenthari blood flowing through those tiny veins. "Welcome home, my daughter," she said. "All of you, welcome home."